Hey everybody, it's Casual Boops coming at you with another video, and today I'm going to cover field mods in kind of a basic fashion, what they are, why you should care, and how you can kind of what you should do about this if you're new to the game or haven't really taken the time to check this out, and you're just kind of, I don't know, Wargaming's articles are sometimes very wordy, and you don't want to watch 7 YouTube videos to figure it out. You just want to watch one, and so here you are. So basically, I'm going to break this down and create the little timestamps. The two things, or I guess the things to talk about are the 2 ammo loadouts, the 2 equipment loadouts, the extra improved slot, dual modifications, and then builds. So I'm gonna try to divide things into those that order, and you can skip to the part that you don't know what that is, I guess, basically. But basically, field mods are any tank that has finished being researched, right? You've researched, like if it's a tier 9 and you've already researched the tier 10, then field mods are available, and you'll know that obviously by, well, nothing's obvious, but up by the research button here, there's this tiny little button right there, and then this informs you of the things, the field mods that are ready to purchase, and you purchase them with XP on the tank. So this gives you an incentive to continue to grind out a tank that you like, or whatever, that you want to unlock this awesome, this various different, some of it's awesome, some of it's kind of blah, but it gives you the option to continue to grind the things, and they are, let's see, and it's available from tier 6 to tier 10, and tier 6 just gets 1 slot, and then 7 gets 2, and so on and so forth, and all the way up to tier 10 gets all 8 things, but I'll get into that. So basically what this is divided into is the first one that you can get at tier 6. I'll just skip to tier 6 for example here. At tier 6 you get, for your first field modification, and you'll notice the XP that you have to unlock these things is oh, I must have been mistaken. So tier 8 and up get this, and then 9 and up get this, and 10 and up this. So you actually do get a few field mods. But as you go up in tiers, the cost to unlock each level is very low. So it really doesn't going to take you very much to unlock all the field mods for a tier 6, for example. But what you do then is you can use free XP if you want, if you really got to have it now. But really, honestly, especially some of these are, the tier 6 is pretty cheap, but like the tier 9 and 10, they're pretty expensive. So I would just play the tanks. Just play the tanks. Turn off, okay, if you're watching this and you're not sure what to do or why you should care, turn off accelerated crew training and just play the game. Play the tanks you like, and eventually you'll have enough XP built on those tanks that you can be increasing these levels and getting this stuff. Even if you don't care about any of this stuff that I'm about to say, there is still benefit to just dumping XP into this, because the various different tanks have classifications, and their different classifications get you different stuff. Basically, you get a bonus to the tank even if you do nothing and care about nothing. For example, for this one, you get an increase to the level of engine power just by leveling this thing up. So let's, right, for example, the Easy 8 right now has got nothing. If I just dump a bunch of XP on it, this is my sheriff account, so none of this matters. I didn't grind for this. And you can see each of these things is, this is the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, and now I'm fully upgraded. Even if I didn't care about any of these things, I have now got 3% extra engine power on my Easy 8 just for doing these things. So even if you care about nothing about the rest of what I'm about to say, then this is something you should still care about, because why not? It's a bonus. Flat, straight up bonus. So the first thing that you get is 2 ammo loadouts, ammo and consumable loadouts, and I found these to be, I don't know, it's okay. It's not like a super mega game changer, but really what this is useful for is, like, if you're you're playing your Easy 8 and all of a sudden you got a game where there's like 5 defenders in the enemy team, well, then maybe you want to have a second equipment loadout where you run, like, I don't know, nothing but premium. Boom, now you can do that. But then then the next game, when you're just a bunch of tier 6s, you can run your standard loadout or whatever. Or maybe you run food in certain situations but not in other situations. And so this is what that's for. And this is cool, I guess. It gives you the opportunity to save some credits and not be shooting the rounds that you don't want to be shooting, but also not be gimped because you're trying to save some coins. You didn't load a lot of premium, and now, oh, oops, you really need them. So that's this, and in my opinion, this is, you know, it's a neat thing, but it's not like a huge game changer. So that's what that is. Pretty simple. The one thing that is kind of annoying, you will have to, as soon as you unlock this, you'll need to put equipment, or I'm sorry, put ammo in each loadout, each of the 2 loadouts, because if you don't, you try to load in, the game will then think that you don't have equipment or don't have ammo, so it'll be like, oh, here, I'll just show you. Like, if I were to, oh my god, come on, there we go, a little delay. If I didn't do this and I had one of these empty, and then I switched to this one so I could still play the game, if you try to let's press battle, it'll say, oh no, you need to load shells. So this is a little bit annoying, but not a big deal. You do this once, you know, for your tank, set it up, and it's not a big deal. Even if it's the same, a lot of my tanks are the same. They're just, I don't really use this sometimes, but it can be useful. You know, you'll find times where you're like, I'm assuming that just by playing the game eventually, you will think of times where like, gosh, I wish I would have had, you know, in this situation, what I have isn't really that great. God, I wish I had a second loadout for this. And then you could go do that. You could go make that second loadout. So that's what this is for. And even if you don't care, again, you get this, you get the extra engine power. So that's 2 ammo loadouts. The next thing is 2 equipment loadouts, and that is, let's see, this is number 1. And then 2 is this thing, which I'll get into all this stuff later. But then 3 is the alternate configuration auxiliary loadout special modification. 3 is 2 equipment loadouts. And now you might be saying, oh, what is that? What do you mean by that? So what that means is you could have, for instance, let's say there's a wide open map where you really got to have all the view range and speed that you can possibly manage, because it's, I don't know, proc and you're trying to dodge artillery shells. So maybe you do something like, I don't know, this is probably not optimal. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just, as an example, here's one, and then you could say, oh, well, what about the very next game I get Ensk, and I've got to have all about DPM. I don't care about view range. I just got to hit these shots, and I don't know, whatever. Again, I'm not saying that these are good things to do, these equipment loadouts. I'm just saying, giving you an example, that you can have 2 different loadouts for 2 different situations. And the situations that I've found that this is most impactful for are tanks that are very min-maxed. For example, the Even 90, one of my favorite tier 8s, the little go-kart. The way I have mine set up right now is I'm sorry. It's right now. I think I have mine set up for full spotting. Right, everything about it is all about spotting. So I think I do this and that, and maybe even this. Right, so I'm basically a ninja. Right, I get the CVS and binoculars. This I actually do kind of recommend because it's really good. However, if you get a map like Ensk or Ruinberg or Himmelsdorf, or some kind of city map where this is garbage, and you're like, well, great, I don't really need camo because now this map doesn't really care about camo. So you dump a bunch of XP on it over time, or whatever. If you have the 5 times XP things from the summer sales and the advent calendar stuff, this would be a good way to use that, by the way. You could just turn off the accelerated crew training and get those 5Xs and farm up the XP. So what you then do, like for instance, what I have is then the other map, like the other setup that I have is for city maps. Like if I have Ruinberg, I need the gun to hit the shots, and so I'll have something like this, something a little more conventional, where it's more for combat. I don't need to spot, I need to do damage, and so here's this. And so this is actually pretty huge, this having the ability to be the scout when you need to be the scout, and then also do damage when scouting isn't really important. So the other thing is, like, these are just examples that I've come across personally. There are more, I'm sure, but like, again, with like the Rheinmetall Scorpion, again, we'll dump a bunch of XP into it and da-da-da-da-da. Bear with me here. But yeah, this is not like, these tanks are like, if this is a tank that you don't like, then don't bother messing with it, because it doesn't matter. Like, Like, none of these benefits are so huge that it's going to take a tank that you like and turn it into a tank that you, or take a tank that you don't like and turn it into a tank that you like. So don't get all bent out of shape about that. But like, for instance, let's say you're in a city map, and you know, what I have personally is something like come on now, something like this, and then I do have the rammer, whatever, gold doesn't matter. And then I run a turbo because I basically want to be a medium tank that just has a big stupid gun. And so that works really well for me in city maps because you can turn the gun and with so on and so forth. And then if, let's say you're in a map where it's like Prokhorovka, where all of a sudden it's all about long shots, really long, like you need to be doing some spotting, you need to be shooting shots at 500 meters. This would be a way that you can have this set up for that situation. So when this happens, then you are prepared for it. And then during the countdown, the 30-second countdown, you get to pick between the loadouts for equipment and consumables that you want. You can also set it up where, I think, if your computer loads very slow and you don't get that 30-second countdown, I think that you can set it up where it happens later on in the game, like within 10 seconds of the game start. That I am not 100% on, to be quite honest with you. Anyways, but you're going to do this at the beginning of the game. So that's the 2 equipment loadouts, and these are just some examples that I've found that are very, very nice. That gives you the flexibility to not have to like be the jack of all not have to be the jack of all trades. You can set the tank up for 2 different situations and then pick which one you want when you get the map when the map loads in. So that's huge. I think these are huge. Or, you know, like, for instance, if you have a mouse, I'll give one last example because I just can't help myself. If you have a mouse and you're on, I don't know, Prokhorovka with 3 artillery, well, then maybe what you actually want is like a spall liner and, you know, a spall liner and a hardening and a turbo so you can move around a little bit, I guess, or something, right? Maybe this is your middle finger to artillery. And then in some other map you have like Ensk, where there's no artillery, and then all of a sudden you need to put the damage down. So you have your rammer and I'd still probably run a turbo because it makes a big difference. But you know what I mean? You're getting the difference. You can set things up for different situations and then select the one that most applies to what you have. So that's huge, and it's really nice, and I think everybody can take advantage of that. Or you can ignore it. If you don't need that, you can just have it set up where you don't have 2 sets of equipment. Also, if you have, this is important, like for example on the Scorpion G, for my 2 equipment loadouts, I had a rammer in both. When you do that, you don't need to put on or pay for 2 rammers. It knows that you have a rammer in slot 1, or, you know what I mean, equipment loadout 1. So it will just say, oh yeah, he's got the same rammer in loadout 2. So this is not 2 rammers, this is 1 rammer. So for that reason, that's you know, you're not buying 2 sets of everything, even if it's exactly the same. So that's nice. Okay, so that's the 2 equipment loadouts and why that matters. The next one is the extra improved slot. What is that? So that's the last thing that the tier 8s can get. And this is one of my favorite things. Okay, I'll first start by saying you'll notice that in the Scorpion G, it has this sniper tank destroyer designation. Wargaming has given a designation to every tank from tier 6 and up. And there's these various combat roles: assault tank destroyer, versatile tank destroyer, sniper tank destroyer, support tank destroyer, whatever, you know. And you can even filter by that and whatever. Personally, I don't care for this because I don't want Wargaming to tell me how to play my tanks. But in any case, the point is, each of these different vehicle roles has slightly different vehicle upgrades, and one of the things that's different is what you get as an option for your extra improved slot. So the Scorpion G is the sniper, whatever. So the 2 options you get are scouting or survivability. So personally, I picked scouting, and that's just me because of the way I like to play the tank. And you can flip-flop these things if you change your mind. So what that means is now I have 2 slots here where on both both equipment loadouts, I have an option for a scouting slot. Now, for my city loadout, this isn't going to matter, and you know, you're not scouting in cities anyways. But for like my long range, view range, and try to be the snipey snipe thing, then yeah, I'm going to throw my binoculars in there, and then all of a sudden they become that much more effective. So this is also very nice. You lose nothing. Also, I will just say one of the big things that is really cool is like the chieftain. For some reason, the chieftain gets a you hover over this, you can see it gets a mobility slot or a firepower slot. So what I've decided to do is put a mobility slot on there, and then my turbo becomes that much better. So if you don't have a Bond turbo, don't worry about it, man. Just get yourself an improved mobility slot, and you're good to go. Like, so again, I haven't gone through and upgraded every single one of these tanks, so bear with me for just a moment. But you can see this 28,000 for each of these is going to add, like, if you did this 8 times, this would cost you quite a bit, and so it's probably not worth dumping the free XP in for this exact reason. Like, none of these benefits are so huge that you've got to have it now. But you can throw a turbo in this, and all of a sudden your super conch becomes god tier awesome. Yeah, my crew's well, the crew in this is awesome, so it doesn't matter. But this is probably what I would run anyways. And now all of a sudden you get the 10% engine power and 5 forward speed and plus 3 reverse speed. So that's not quite as good as a Bond turbo, but it's really close. So like this, in my opinion, if you don't want to run purple equipment or you don't have purple equipment, this is huge, 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 huge. Again, does this count as a versatile tank destroyer? Do I get one of these? Oh, you don't get it for tier 6. Okay. But like, oh god, the Black Prince could so use a mobility slot. Good lord. So this is huge, though. I mean, you get, yeah, you just get an extra improved slot for nothing. You can ignore it or you can utilize it, and it can have pretty substantial differences. Again, for example, like the Even 90, the 2 options you get are mobility and firepower. So I picked firepower just because it's already got the scout thing on lockdown. Like, this is my scouting setup, here it is. But like the city setup now, all of a sudden this just becomes that much awesomer. So my V-stab is now an improved well, not an improved, but it's got this improved slot for the V-stab. And of course your vents are in there. So like, it's just a little bit of extra way to pump things up. And you know, again, just by doing nothing, I would still get plus 3% to halt reverse speed for selecting nothing and not caring about any of these things. So you should care, you should dump the XP in there and upgrade the field modifications, because it is a net benefit, right? So that's the extra improved slot. Next thing, the dual modifications. These ones are tricky, and you'll see a lot of them. The general feel here is that you'll get something in exchange for something else. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of these, you don't have to pick either one, and I didn't pick either one. Like, some of them, it's like, well, I would really like to have that, but I don't want to lose. I would love to have 2 kilometers of, and you know, top speed, but I don't want to lose engine power, and so on and so forth. So like, aiming circle size versus reload time, and so like, man, I don't know. This doesn't seem. This is going to be min-maxing and deciding which of these things you want, or again, if you want any of them at all, it's going to take some time to unpack, because they're minor differences, and how you play each tank matters. But the important thing is, don't get overwhelmed by this, because especially on tier 10s, there's quite a bit. There's 2 more. You don't need to pick one. You don't need to pick anything. You just by having it, you'll have it unlocked, and you can pick them later on, or you can not pick them at all. You don't lose anything by not picking them. So have no fear. Don't freak out. Let's get back to one that actually is. Sorry, I keep bouncing around, guys. I'm trying to just show things that can be shown. Did I get a chieftain? No, here we go. Yeah, so like, for instance, the super conch. To be honest, okay, I'm gonna meld right into the last one, which is builds. So what is probably going to happen here is people that are very smart are going to take time and figure out different builds for ways to optimize each tank with their field modifications, excuse me, to say, oh, get this one and this one and that one and this one and da 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 da, and all of a sudden the tank plays like X, and it's awesome. And I have found one of those, and I will show you now as an example. The E50M is ridiculous. It was always good before, but now it's just absolutely a monster. And why is it a monster? Because the ramming meme is not a meme anymore. So what I have chosen now with the explicit purpose of this thing is going to be a ramming monster, I've chosen the hull traverse speed upgrade, so it turns faster. I didn't pick either one of these because I don't really care about dispersion or aiming circle. I just want to keep this how it is. I chose the extra reverse speed. I mean, because I don't really care about camouflage. I'm going to be up in somebody's face ramming them. And I've got extra repair speed. That's good. This one I've chosen extra hit points because I don't really care about aiming speed. I sometimes will be shooting things, but most of the time I just want more HP so I get in there and ram things. And then this last one here, reinforced joints. This is super dumb. It gives you more engine power, less damage from ramming received, and more damage caused at the expense of, you know, dispersion and view range, which I don't care about. And then of course you've chosen the second slot modification as, I think, survivability. So what is the end result when you have a crew that has what is it called, controlled impact, and then you have a spall liner on it with the survivability slots, that it's very, very effective, and a turbo and some grouses to turn extra fast, and you've got gas. And so the result is this thing basically flies around the map going 65, 70 almost all the time, and it rams things for so much. Like, it's not a joke. You can, I don't know. You ram literally everything for like 1,000 damage. It's really, really stupid. And so this is just one example of like a build for this E50M I've got set up as a ramming build. And I'm sure there will be others very similar, not similar to this, but like in a similar vein where it's like, oh, if you want the best sniping tank destroyer, this is the way to do that. And so that, I think, will come out of this. I'm not going to go into that in this video because I've already gone for way too long, I'm sure. But I just wanted this is an example. These are the things that are going to come out of field modifications, and so be aware of that. Look around, toy with it a little bit, think about it. Don't get overwhelmed. Step one is just dump the things in, dump the XP in the field mods, and then nothing bad will happen. And I think these three things at the bottom are the most important or the most useful. The extra, you know, ammo loadout, the extra equipment, and then the extra improved slot. That's huge. These three things are the most important thing. And if you mess up one of the, you know, picking one, let's say, oh, I don't really want the survivability, I want the scouting. Well, you just pay Wargaming some credits and you can go flip-flop it back and forth. It's fine. Like I said, the dual modifications, those, I'll be honest, a lot of these I haven't even chosen. And I don't know that I even will, because it's a tough choice and I don't really want to lose things. So don't feel like you have to pick one, and don't feel like there's definitely a right answer and you just don't get it. There's not always a right answer. Sometimes the right answer is not to pick one at all. So that is, I guess, the field mods. If you have no idea what they are, hopefully now you know. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll be, you know, I read every one of them. So if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. Try it out. Try out the E50M. It is bonkers. E50M with mobility build. With mobility and ramming build is absolutely silly, and I have a blooper video coming out that's going to have some footage from that because Oscar and I have gone crazy with it. So alrighty, that's all I have. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. All right.